All right, I believe we are live, Dr. Green, and we are recording as well.
All right. Anthony, do you want to go first?
I have to send Kyle over the supplements. So do you want to talk about the AC leave of absence first, if you don't mind, so I could have a second to send this over to him?
Sure. This was a PDF. So you don't see my screen. That's okay. This was a PDF, so I couldn't actually do anything with it, but we would just change it in the following way. So we counter with this. Beginning with the 2021 school year, annual contract teachers who take such leave shall be offered a district binder prior to a district binder being offered to any potential new hire in the spring, summer of that year in the specific area of certification of that teacher.
Okay, now just let me ask you, what's the spring, summer, that's the appropriate time for that?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Actually, all binders are going to be out most likely before the open, before we post to the world. I call it before we post to the world. So last year we posted mid-May.
Go ahead, ask that question.
Dr. Green, I understand what you're trying to accomplish, but wouldn't those people be eligible to teach a year out of area?
Well, it depends. Not everybody. If you've already been out of area 1 year and you didn't follow through with that certification, you're not allowed to do it again. But the point isn't necessarily for those teachers. The point is more for the, the specific subject area offerings, like all of your sciences, your foreign languages, your CTEs, things like that. Not necessarily for, elementary, but another one, you have to have reading certification to teach reading. So we're talking about your subject area classes. I'm just not going to take anybody that's been offered a binder to bring into a AP chemistry position. So it is about the area of certification, and that is currently what our binders say. They do reference certification.
All right, well, we're willing to TA that language.
Thank you.
All right.
Did you send it?
Yeah, brought the supplements proposal. I will talk about it as Kyle brings that up. Maybe.
Can I interrupt for just a moment? I'm really sorry. I know that this isn't e-learning, but in e-learning, the district's expectation is that participants will have their cameras on, and I appreciate that Melissa Braun has her camera on, but I wonder if I can request that the other district representatives would model the district's policy. Thank you so much for turning your cameras on. Appreciate that.
And Bill, some of the people don't have cameras on there. Like when I'm in my
that's
office.
fine.
Yeah, when I'm in my office, I don't have a camera.
So I think that
I only have them when I'm not connected.
I'm glad Bill brought that up, because I know, and I think, I've gotten notice, students are requested to turn their cameras on, but also by that same token, I know we've had schools hand out computers to students without cameras. So always good to be cognizant of those issues.
All right, so Dr. Green, on the supplements, we're countering your counter with just a few changes.
Where do we want to start?
Start on sheet 2.
Sheet 2, professional.
Yeah. So on the professional, we're asking that the partners in education is left in there. We feel like that's a very important position that brings in a tremendous amount of money to this district, and it should be offered a supplement. Well, I'll just leave it at that. So we want to see that be added in. And then for the mentor teacher, we've suggested that it be for one teacher $165, which we still do not think is enough. I don't think anybody thinks it's enough, but we keep that at 165. For 2 or more, we move to 300, and we would accept the lead mentor at 300.
Kyle, can you slide over that column F just a little bit to show us the subtotal?
And these are, we didn't add anything here. This is, was your guys' anticipated cost. I don't think we have enough information to be able to figure out the anticipated cost.
So it would be 458 times 83. Well, and plus we have PI coordinators at a lot of our different sites. So like some of our special programs that aren't necessarily in a specific school. So it'd be 458 times however many of those schools and specific programs, the 83 plus however many other programs are out there.
And my apologies. I thought there was a formula behind that.
All right. All right. And then Kyle, can you go to sheet 1?
Sheet 1, okay.
For sheet 1, we would like to keep the science and engineering fair committee member at the elementary level. It was noted that you guys are actually providing over 5, you said 5.7 for elementary school. So we feel that, you know, if you stuck with the 5 and you did this, it would really just be a wash financially for the district. And they very well might be using, or some of the schools are using one of those 5 for science and engineering fair. And the only other thing, we just had a question or wanted a little discussion on sheet 3, athletics. For the bowling and lacrosse supplement, we understand that we don't want the district to have to pay this if we have outside organizations paying it, but we're kind of concerned, what if those organizations stop paying the supplement? Is there a way to just add it in with the caveat that BPS doesn't pay it unless they lost funding for this?
So if the first question would be whether or not it would actually be brought in as a sport. And I know there has been a lot of discussion with that related to the bowling, because it was originally a certain number of year contract. There was discussion about the costs of it and whether the district could usurp those costs. And the Bowling Association agreed to extend the length of their contract. So
Okay.
I think more appropriately would be if the associations no longer support it, and if it comes in, then at that time we talk about what the price of the supplement would be.
All right, that's fair enough. We just want to kind of put that on the record and put it out there on everybody's radar in case that situation ever occurs. So those were all the counters to your counters that we had on the supplements.
So the last thing then that we're going to talk about is the salary schedule that you proposed. And you know that and Kyle did mention this, that over the last couple of days, we've had a lot of discussion about numbers, et cetera. So we really want to take the time to look at your schedule. We cannot do that in a short period of time this evening. We don't have the resources to be able to do that. We would like to come back to the table Wednesday and present what we have found and a counter if necessary.
There's absolutely no way I could come back to the table this week, so it'd have to be Monday of next week.
Monday works for me, and anybody else that's on my team will be invited to be there. I'm not checking everyone's calendar. I'll say Monday, at least I'll be here, and I'm hoping everybody else will be able to be here as well. But we'll have everything costed and figured and ready to respond.
Dr. Green, I just want to point out, I think it's a little bit of a frustration that we can't have a bargaining session where we can actually go back and forth with a proposal on salary, because every single time nobody's available.
Oh, I have people available. It's the time in this particular formula and the expectations of the House Bill 641. It's a timeliness factor. Like, we could sit here till tomorrow if you wanted to, but that doesn't help anybody. We when we had different numbers the other day and we were trying to work back and forth, it literally was an hours and hours long process to pull people and have them disaggregated by the groups 1, 2, and 3. And it's just a timeliness factor. I have everybody available, financial services, human resources, my entire team. It's not a matter of somebody not being here. It's the time to do the calculations and not speed through something that's going to harm us down the road financially.
Well, I mean, just to know, we created a calculator so you guys can do it quickly. I mean, we spent hours and hours creating that so we can do this. So if we come back Monday, here's what we need. We need for you to accept our proposal, first of all. But if that doesn't happen, and you guys make a counter and we're likely to counter that, you need whoever you need there to decide. Because
And again, we have everyone here. That's not the issue.
well, also the issue though is you guys can't keep changing these numbers on us though.
Yes, sir. We haven't changed numbers from last week. You changed numbers from your original proposal to the numbers last week. So we're consistent with our numbers, and we'll have something for you Monday.
Oh, okay, but what numbers are you going to be using? Because you're going to put us in a situation where we can't cost out if we don't agree on your numbers. So this week,
Go ahead, Anthony, this week.
I was going to say, you need to tell us what numbers you're using. Otherwise, this is just going to be an endless cycle of this.
Karen says she will try to have a new database tomorrow from which to work. So it will have more of a mesh of our numbers and Kyle's numbers.
And is that going to be based on payroll?
I can't answer what it's going to be based on, but it's going to bring the two numbers groups that we've been looking at closer together.
Is it going to be based on August 15th, August 31st?
So remember,
September
Kyle,
15th?
the issue from what I'm understanding and the difference of numbers had to do with, you had asked for 100 fund people solely and only. And so that's what we were working on, but it's not just the 100 fund. I mean, there are some split funded teachers who clearly qualify for group 1, but we weren't looking at that because that wasn't the spreadsheet that was shared. So we're going to commit to getting closer on the numbers with your numbers in the different groups.
Dr. Green, that wasn't the only issue though. The only issue was that the district used data that was old and therefore had more retiree employees on it, had fewer new teachers on it. And this is the problem. If we've tried to get these numbers all week. We tried Friday, we tried again today. If we keep doing this every time we come here and we can't agree on a number, like this is going to be like 5 weeks of bargaining to have one meeting a week for salary proposals.
So Kyle, I know I started this meeting with, we've done everything we can do to try to get the numbers together. I mentioned that we had spoken several times on Friday and you and Cindy Lisinski had spoken over the weekend, and I started with that. I understand that clearly. When we looked at the group 1s, and I don't see your sheet right in front of me, but I think we were off like 33 minus 14, whatever that was. When we looked at the group 2s, we're off 9 people. So it's the other different ways that they're being put together in these groups that we have got to sit down and take our time to do some costing out.
So just, I mean, can we agree on the concept that these split funded individuals, only what's coming out of Fund 100 should be looked at in this proposal, because the other pieces may be federally funded?
Well, I do think that, but when Kyle asked for 100% full-time Fund 100, it didn't separate those split funded people. They weren't included because they weren't 100% Fund 100. That's where some of the confusion of the numbers came in. But we have your
Dr.
sheets,
Green,
we
I
have
love
our
how this
sheets.
comes back to when Kyle requested. I was given information. I asked for teachers that got paid out of Fund 100. I would really prefer if we stop blaming the person requesting it.
Kyle, I'm not trying to blame you, honestly. I'm trying to explain differences of numbers, which we're trying to, and we have been trying to rectify.
We're at the same place we were last week. Same exact place where we can't even agree on the number of teachers that the district has on their payroll.
I think it's a little bit more than that, but I think we will work as diligently as we can to get that rectified by next Monday.
All right. Let's make sure we both know what numbers and data we're looking at as soon as possible. And that would be before next Monday.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.